All right. Welcome back, guys. This week's episode is a little different. It's the first time that we will be breaking down one of our own songs. In this case, it's the song that we released just last week titled Don't Let Me Go. If you haven't already, please go ahead and give it a listen. It's on all major streaming platforms and my Bandcamp as well, if you're in the mood to give me some money. With that said, I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. It's just going to be us talking and breaking down the song bit by bit, instrument by instrument. And at the end of it, you will get to hear the song in full, in the hopes that you guys learn something, that you enjoy the experience. And when you're done listening, give us a follow, give us a share, maybe a rating, however that thing works. I don't know. They tell me, guys, to tell you guys to do this. So, if it helps, why don't you just take 2 seconds and do it for us? Thank you very much, guys. I hope you have fun. I think we're recording, Pepperoni.
I think we're good.
All right. Well, here we are this time, our first time to speak about our song that was just released.
Absolutely.
And this is our attempt at breaking it down because I always found it fascinating to hear people do that. I always think that I want to know more about that than what they're wearing, where they go out, and who they were partying with.
Yeah, decomposing every element just to be able to see separately how everything sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is really for music nerds. And if you are not a music nerd, this podcast episode is not for you.
Might be a little bit boring, perhaps.
So this song really started when I had the idea of... anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big Tom York fan, should we say?
We can say that.
And on his 2014 record, Tomorrow's Modern Boxes, the last song, which is Nose Grows Some, was the last song that really hit me on the record. For some reason, it didn't register before.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just became this thing that I obsessed over. And he has, of course, this way of making these songs that are so simple, so minimalistic. They sound loop-like.
Yeah.
And yet, if you just take a section of his songs and you loop them, you never fall back on the same thing. And there's just something about that production style and that sort of hypnotic, trance-like song that's very, unique in his repertoire, I find. And it's something that our music, the music we make together, for sure,
there's a lot of inspiration, obviously, but
there is, but so far there's been a lot of aggression and intensity in our music, which is by design, and I just felt like going the opposite way.
Yeah.
And the more we do this, and the more I was really comfortable not being part of every part of the process. So I remember speaking with Felix, my co-producer, someone who has taught me everything that I know, which is no small thing to say, about music production. Yes, the wizard.
That's his name, the wizard.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I told him about the song. I sent him the song. I said, you know what? Just make a drum track that's inspired by this, and that's exactly to our taste. And at this point in our relationship, I don't even have to communicate with him about specifics. So there was something very, I was very relieved to just give that up. And lo and behold, man, a couple weeks later, he just sends us this drum track, and we hadn't had a chance to play music together because of COVID. I just hate to talk about COVID, but at the same time, it is what it is.
You have to point it out. I mean, that's the reason why.
And so we hadn't gone to the studio for a while, and it was just a summer day. I remember we just sat down, and my friend Alexandra Ayakila came by the studio. You remember? She was sitting on the couch right there. And we just plugged Your Nord, I believe, on a Rhodes Sound. And I plugged my delay pedal that has tape effect on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sort of started making feedback loops that we will be getting back to towards the end of this thing. And Felix couldn't be with us right now, but for sure I felt that he had to be included in this podcast. So I asked him to record a little audio slice. And to kick things off, I'll let him take over for a minute.
Great idea.
Take it away, Felix.
Felix here, as known as Regen Music. I'm here to quickly break down the ideas behind the drums for Don't Let Me Go. The goal was to have something quite minimalistic, inspired by the old drum machines, the R606, 808, all that good stuff. Using basic default samples from Ableton and a little bit of processing. I like to compress it a little bit, add some crunch, but nothing special. It's all about the rhythm and the groove. So I'm a big fan of the Ableton Groove Pool that adds a little bit of swing and gives it a nice feel. I always make sure to add my signature white noise cymbals using Ableton Operator and doing different things with them. I always use those in my beats. They give a nice video game texture or retro sounding type drums. I really enjoy working with different types of noise and blips and short sounds.
Yeah, and so that's the short of it. And now I'm going to get into the specific of each track for the drum kit. I want to break it down because it's an exercise in production that is amazing. So it's layered little sounds, right? So far, they're nothing individually. Most of these are made on a synth engine. So it's FM synthesis and a little bit of samples, like you said. Getting really close to having a full groove here. And then the kick. And right now, it's immediately something.
Yeah, it really brings the rhythm. Like, it's really dancey for some reason, suddenly.
It doesn't even have a snare yet.
No.
Now look.
That's right. How you grooving?
Yeah, and it's crazy because you don't even have... Then the missing ingredient that makes the whole thing is this. And there you have it. And I guess the tendency for most people would be to... And so, because it is very hip-hop-like, in that sense, perhaps if it was a little slower. But I was very inspired by Tom York and the way he just has these sentences that just flow over the music.
It just works.
It
you have
just
triplet
works.
feels that you were talking about.
So that's great. And the other thing that we did is we went to get a synth that you bought on Kijiji.
My first analog synth. Yeah.
Which is what we're hearing right now.
First experience. In my case.
In my case too, to own it, so to speak.
Right.
And so that's the Model D from Behringer.
That's right.
And you got it on the same day that we used it, right?
Yeah, we did. We're really excited.
Felix was here.
He was here.
Yeah.
He helped us set it up. And then
so wait a minute.
Started.
You called the guy. I forget the whole thing. Like you called him.
I saw an ad on Kijiji.
As we were speaking, you were looking at them.
I was on the couch and just looking up at ads. I was like, oh, I found this one. It's $300. Usually it goes for like $600. And I just wrote to the guy. He said, yeah, of course. It was very close from the studio.
Yeah.
Took a bike, went to the guy's place, did the transaction, came back, and we just started right away to just fool around with it, start to understand what it's all about, right?
So for me, man, I feel like this is the difference between ideas and finished ideas, is that it's such a simple gesture.
Yeah.
To just go, yo, fuck it. I'm going to go right now, get it.
What is $300?
Like, listen, man, like, oftentimes people have ideas. We all have ideas, and we just don't follow through. I admire that. Like, it's a small detail, but, you know, Marigold, Gaillance, and Originate, they have the same things where it's just like, yeah, fuck it, I did it. You know, I went there, I got the thing, came back, we did the thing. And look at this thing. You're playing it, and I'm playing the filter.
That's right.
So let's just hear it. As simple as that.
Oh, that was one take. It had to be because of the filter.
That's right. And then the computer broke, and we hadn't been playing for 3 months, and then we had to take another 2 months break.
Very depressing episode.
Yeah. And 2 months later, after I got the new computer, set that shit up,
Yeah.
we got, which is very rare that I use this. I don't use samples, but this is Labs from Spitfire. It's free. And I just wanted to try letting you play these strings just overlapping tones.
It's very subtle, but that's the way we usually work, right? You always tell me play whatever you want.
Yeah.
From there, I have many, many ideas, and you just chop them down, right? That's the...
Do you remember the scale that we're in?
Yeah, it's D minor,
D minor.
which is, they say it's the saddest of all the scales. I just remember that, doing this, and just playing 3 notes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Going up, down, just very slowly,
Yeah.
just to get like a center.
Nothing lands on the one evenly. Like,
Nope.
in the sense that you can't loop this perfectly.
No, and they're overlapping, but they
Yeah.
always feed into each other, which
Yes.
is pretty interesting.
Absolutely. Man, it's very rare to find string samples that I like.
It's a free one.
There's just something meditative about this thing.
Yeah. It's cool to hear it by itself.
Yeah, right, eh?
I've been doing it for a long time, but yeah.
This is cello, violins, and what they call, quote-unquote, frozen strings.
That's right.
And over the drum loop, man, it just felt magical.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let that play out. What we're gonna hear next is I created a channel where I put every channel from the synths, from the keyboards, and with my Aquapus pedal, drinking beer and doing podcasts, homie. And what I did is something I think every producer should do, is just play with send returns of the feedback.
So that's the Rhodes
That is the Rhodes that you're playing, yeah.
with the effect.
Yeah, so
The
basically
Aquapus.
we're sending the Rhodes into 2 tracks, the main that we're recording and another one that's recording through this guitar pedal. And I'm just tweaking the knobs of the pedal board. And this is what's happening. And it sounds like nothing when you put it like this. This I know. But it really creates the whole mood over the strings.
Yeah, overlapping with everything else is
When
has
you
a texture.
Absolutely. When you hear the full song, it's one of those things where you might hear it, but if I muted it, you would just say, whoa, the life is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just movement.
You can still hear a lot though.
Yeah.
Into it, like by itself.
Absolutely. I mean,
It's like,
it is inspiring, isn't it?
yeah, it's very meditating.
Yeah. Over those crazy strings that we did.
And is this something like the filter that you like did one take and you played around with the pedal, or it's something else that you recorded afterwards? Or
Nope, it's one take of the pedal
Right.
as you were playing.
okay,
A lot of the things on this song, for instance, like the Nord, the Model D, we are you're playing something and I'm tweaking the parameters live.
wait,
Yeah.
yeah, you definitely hear it.
Yeah.
It's like a whale sound or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but
It's just, I mean, yeah, like breaking it down, I really hear all the layers and I mean, I hate to sound like such a snob, but it's all these textures, man. So the next thing is the clarinet. So that's my boy Louis Racine. Came in because he bought a clarinet, and I was in the middle of making this song, and I don't know, I just had the idea. I told him to come and play.
He just bought it when he came?
Yeah, he doesn't know how to play clarinet. What you're hearing is a guy
learning to play clarinet
as we're recording.
Well, that's pretty good for what it is.
Yeah, because he's very musical. He's obviously
intuitive.
Yeah, intuitive. And I just told him, just play little notes. Yeah, as simple as that, but it really adds an extra layer, because you hear how he can't play, and you can hear that. It's airy, it's breathy.
Exactly, it's hairy.
He's making noises, and it's just great. Now this.
Yeah, the B part.
The B part. Because this song is nothing, it's just 2 parts, right? It does nothing repeats.
Nope. There's no verse, chorus.
I sent the demo to a friend, and he told me, "Oh man, there's no hook." And he said like it was a bad thing. And
well,
you know what, man? I had an epiphany at that moment.
When he said that?
Yeah, because he's not wrong if that's what you're trying to do. But you know what, man? Fuck having conventional song structures.
Well, it's not a typical song, but...
It's not a typical song, but as a songwriter, as a creator, if you don't want to, not even can't, if you don't feel like having a typical song structure, fuck it, don't.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's the feed, I reversed the Nord that you're playing in the first demo.
Oh, yeah.
It's just reversed Nord. And I stacked it over the actual Nord.
Yeah, that was one of the first things we recorded after the drum track.
That is the first thing we recorded, I believe.
Was that over the drum track, and then
over the drum track,
started to play around with the Model D, and then
we had a Model D loop,
right?
And it wasn't anything. It was just like a 4-bar loop.
Yeah.
And you're playing this. We didn't keep any of that first take except for this.
Even though it's super open rhythmically, there's the tempo is oscillating. It's not even.
What are you doing there? What's
I'm just
happening?
fooling around the D minor scale with the chords, some added 7th, and I'm really not doing that much, So a D minor chord, and I just move around the scale in chords. Well, I would have to play. It's been a long time, but it's really just that. Playing with the 7, going back to the 5th, and my left hand is doing something like my bass thing, but accentuating that.
Very nice. So next we have the vocals, which came last, of course.
That's how you like to do things, right? Usually?
Well,
not always.
Not always. I mean, honestly, man,
doesn't matter.
If I have one advice is put down vocals the night you're demoing.
Don't let me go. If it's there for you to see me, well, now you know. Don't let me go.
I would highly suggest to anybody demoing instrumental music demos, put down a vocal melody, even if it's ooh-ahs, because the next day when you come in, you will have a reference frame. That has helped me immensely.
I'm not the one to say how I feel deep down inside.
This was done, one evening, I believe. I demoed it one night. I came back with Marilyn the next day, and I just had her stand there.
Are you here with me, or are you playing games?
And I just told her, every time I do a phrasing, just let me know. Look at me. Let me know if I nailed it. If it's good enough, should we say? On to the next thing. Marilyn being my ex-girlfriend now.
Yeah.
That really, of course,
If it's
educated me
there for you
and showed
to
me
see,
pretty much everything I know at this point vocally. I may not be a very skilled singer, but shout out to her for giving me enough of the tools to really sort of fly by myself, which is no small thing, man.
Nope.
Speaking of Marilyn, I had her do a vocal line that night that she came at the studio, which I ended up keeping on the final song because we might be broken up, but good music is good music.
And her voice is so powerful. Like, you can't deny that.
Whew, classical training will do that to you, baby. I mean, her voice, anybody who has like technique, right? Classical singing technique. We'll hear it again. The way. It's like her throat, there's nothing, blocking or preventing. Like it's perfect.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Marilyn, I don't know if you're listening to this, but, shout out to you because...
Has more depth to the song.
Oh, man, it's... it was definitely something I contemplated when we broke up. Like, where do I stand on this? Where does she stand on this? And at the end of the day, I just felt it was the right thing to do to keep it in because just to honor that thing.
So hi to Marilyn.
Yeah, shout out. And so now what we're going to hear is the first demo on the first night that the first day Alexandra
That's
came.
right.
What you're hearing right now is our first draft, the first raw thing that we did, where I just told Jan to jam, and I'm recording myself playing on the pedal. So it's both of us freestyling, so to speak. Already it was all there.
Yeah, all the elements are there. They're just not in the same order.
Yeah, exactly.
But the bass line has less impact.
Yeah,
This
well,
one.
it wasn't mixed,
Yeah.
right? So
Of course.
as things go, I really debated. I really
Yeah,
love
it's
that
like-
thing, and that was such another field, man. I was like, oh, do we go that direction or are we going? I loved it. I felt it was straying from our Tom York initial idea, but I was torn, man, because.
Yeah, but I was trying to follow the drums while
Yeah.
doing that,
I understand.
which I tend to do a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, which makes sense, of course. Oh, that thing was beautiful.
Yeah, just like touching the keys. Or
So, what we're just about to hear is the second demo, second export of the song. I forget what it is even. I don't know how far ahead we were in that process, but I know that this song went fairly quick. So, let's see where this takes us. Huh.
Okay.
So we have strings already.
And the clarinet?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's there in the background.
Okay. Yeah, right.
It's not as loud.
Hence, my good mixing skills. Usually, I'm so tired, man, at the end of our session where my ears don't work anymore.
Because you just like.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm just
listening
gonna
to the same
export
thing.
this shit and just vibe with whatever's happening.
I have to sleep on it, sometimes.
Yeah. See how well it goes on the strings, on the drums,
Yeah.
and the feedback. I don't know if you guys hear this.
It's like.
It's movement. It's moving,
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of movement.
Like otherwise, everything is a loop, which
Yeah.
we don't want it to be.
But it doesn't feel like that, though.
No, exactly, because so that's the thing with electronic music, man. It's like people just do these perfect loops, and I get the vibe. It's just that I'm not there.
could be very static sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I've done, man. I have a million songs that are super static. And now what I do is I just add movement to them by not creating perfect loops.
Yeah.
So if that's any advice to anybody, don't create perfect 8-bar loops. Just
the piano, what I do, I play with the velocity, louder, so sometimes you can really create that movement just by playing, any instrument, any keys.
Absolutely, man. I hear you. So this second thing is a variation, which... variation, huh? I shouldn't use that word too much. So whatever this is. So that's like part B. We recorded a bunch of synths.
Right.
And now we're going to hear them stacked up.
It's really higher in pitched.
Yeah. So here's why we have two parts to this song, is because I was thinking, do I go with part A as the main skeleton, or do we do a part B song where it's like it's that vibe?
Mm-hmm.
So I was almost thinking like either or.
Of course.
And then at the end of the day, I was like, why don't we just marry both? Because to go back to my comment of like, ugh, fuck song structure.
Yeah, who cares?
Like, yeah, who cares? Like, anyways, if you've gotten this far into the podcast, you've heard the song and you're with it.
Of course, you know.
So
But like on this one, we can hear like organ sounds. I think I'm playing like a farfisa or the on my Nord, the emulator of a farfisa, something like that.
How beautiful was that? What we just heard, this thing. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Man, like, we are on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that part that we had that.
Yeah, me too, man. Like, I'm sorry, I'm listening as we're recording this, going like, what's happening? So the last bit is the last demo, or at least the one that I found that we had, where I'm actually demoing the vocals here. So I was hesitant, but I want to share the demoing process of the vocals because it's vulnerable.
That's the first time you've been
yeah, that's the first time I'm doing vocals. Yeah, fuck it. It's important to show this.
Don't let me go. If it's there for you to see me, well now you know. Don't let me go. If it's there for you to see me,
Yeah.
well now you know.
Yeah, rhythmically, there's again. The way you changed it afterwards, works a whole lot better.
And although I did write some stuff after that session, what you're hearing is just me inventing. Does he say it in English? Making it up as I go.
Yeah.
Inventing
on the fly,
stream of consciousness, and that's really how I write my melodies. As you've seen, like I don't think about it. And then I'll think about it later.
But the lyrics, you already add them? No, that's okay.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. That was a
breakthrough.
That cut quick.
Yeah.
So now what you're gonna hear is the final mixed and mastered version of "Don't Let Me Go." Enjoy.
Don't let me go. If it's there for you to see me, well now you know. Don't let me go. care